My name is Benton Mark, and this is my individual submission for week 4 of working on Katalyst. We're wrapping up our milestone 3 for the project, and had a lot of fun progress that's been coming along. We got our model of the ship. We also got some of the UI set up for the design. When you click on the interface between one level to another. We also set up as a team being able to improve like the stars and the texturing from when you're traveling, how that looks, not being too bright, but then also being visible enough to see. So there's a lot of things on different parts of the team they've been working on that I haven't had my hands on. I've been kind of working more on the logistics side this week, helping the project have a little bit more of a B sort of scenario. And while Lauren's done a really great job with setting up the project for making sure the gameplay works, making sure we got a functional UI, start system, the really basic important things. My mind this week has been just kind of thinking about, hey, what's the scope? What's the scalability? What realistically are we looking at in terms of the game? And how are we going to design it as such to do that? What's going to be the wireframing of that player journey, the moment they hit launch in the game and they start? So that's something I've been thinking, a lot about and talking with Lawrence, and starting next week, that's something I'm going to be designing same to her. But the other thing that we were working on is I created this Excel sheet here. It just talks about theoretically how much gameplay we want Katalyst to have. Lauren, team lead, was mentioning we want at least 10 hours, up to 20 hours for full completion. I'm thinking, okay, that's pretty standard, right, for a game. Also, depending on how much you want to sell it for. Not that cost is relative directly to the amount of play time, obviously, but if this is a game that you want to eventually publish, you need a certain amount of game time for the player. The player wants to be able to spend time on the game. And then that's including like lore and cutscenes, levels, everything else like that. So I just threw in here, you can just see just the minutes that it takes for the certain types of levels we've configured, a repeating average, and then the repeating average different difficulty scale is what it stands for. And then just kind of example of one of the first worlds, level 1 through 10, amount of minutes on average for each of those levels to take, and the difficulty scale. Since it's the first level, you're not going to have what I, for fun, just named evil, completely difficult to do. You have 20 hours, 1200 minutes, 10, 600, right? Minus the upgrading, going to take at least an hour. I was just theoretically putting it out there. Then we're going off of these numbers for these guys below. So this would be on a base, kind of a control group. This would be for upgrading. Obviously, that's a lot of levels. That wouldn't really make sense, right? But all the numbers there to take a look at. You have your repeating average, and then the second repeating average, this is going off of here based on how many times, not just how long does it take the player to complete the level, but how many times does the player have to try again to complete that level? If it's fairly difficult level and it's 3 minutes long and they have to try it 4 times, there's a part they keep dying on, it's going to take them at least 12 minutes to get through that. And so if that's what we're looking at there, then on average, maybe 82 levels, 41 for 10 hours, 47, 24, 82, 41, 327, excuse me, 164. And then you average that out, that left hand side, 82, 41 for more or less how many levels theoretically you'd have to look at designing if you just want to focus on pure gameplay, hours spent playing the game. That's how many levels more or less you'd have to create, and then also averaging the amount of time in those levels, right? So we were looking at maybe under 100 levels in total for this game if it ships, and then just repeating this right here. You have your 4, 8, 14, 20, 68. That's just talking about how long it would take to complete one of those levels. So for example, a long level takes 4 minutes, right? Normal level, you're going to have to try it twice, going off of this guy right here. It's can take 8, 14, 20, 68. So if it's like an evil level, it's going to take you maybe an hour to figure it out, depending on how difficult that may be. So this is something I just felt passionate about creating to really help us understand what that looks like. So that's part of the stand up, and then just wrapping up some of the level design coming next week.